Live. Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the second Tuesday of the month, which means it's time for Feelin' Great with Lissa and Nate. And today they're going to talk about essential kitchen tools for your vegan and raw kitchen, and tell you about a special offer that's going on right now to get Lissa's amazing new hand salad book, never before seen. Please welcome to the show, Lissa and Nate. Nice to see you guys again.
What's up, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you
Chef
so
AJ.
much. Yeah, we love being on. Feeling great. Listen, Nate's always one of our favorite Tuesdays of the month, that's
Yes,
for sure.
definitely. Episode 5.
Here we are.
Episode 5. is
Wow, how has the year flown?
I know.
It sure has.
I saw a post earlier today, and they were like, "How has it been 5 months? The year only started 2 weeks ago."
Yeah, really. I know it. It's like you could say, all right, cool. So that's going to be about a year from now, which is in about 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes by so fast. So yeah, thanks for having us on. We've got the Raw Vegan Kitchen Essentials spread laid out. And so that was my contribution to the bundle this year, was the Raw Vegan Kitchen Essentials course. And Lissa has her amazing hand salads book in the Raw Vegan bundle. And you guys also have your collaboration, you and Chef AJ. That's going to be a game changer.
Raw Chef Yin was on yesterday and said she made the stuffed mushrooms and she loved them.
Oh yeah,
Amazing.
that recipe is so good.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so many good ones.
Well, we did the creamy tomato rice and beans.
Last week we were on your show sharing
That's
that one.
right.
That's a good one too. So make it raw too. We've got the collaboration book, which is exclusive to the Raw Vegan bundle, which is a basically like a collector's edition. Everybody, well, not everybody, but there's 37 different chefs from around the world who all contributed their favorite appetizer recipes to this book. That is in the Raw Vegan bundle.
Yeah, 40 things worth over $1,800, all raw, all brand new, and it's all yours for $50. Just click the link in the bio
It's just
or in
incredible.
the description.
Yeah, in the description.
Yes. Sweet.
So
So
good, so good. So yeah, let's get digging in here. So yeah, the course that I put together that is in the Raw Vegan bundle is a video course, and it's broke up into different modules. And basically, I was thinking, sitting back thinking, like, what would I have liked when I first became someone following a raw vegan diet? Because I was looking for, what do I need? I keep hearing about certain things that people are talking about to use to make their recipes: a high-speed blender, a mandolin, a spiralizer,
a dehydrator.
a dehydrator. Now, some of these things I had kind of a little idea or a little inclination of what they actually were, but it was really tricky to find someone telling me, hey, get this, you're going to need this, get this, you're going to need this. So that's why I put this course together, is to hopefully help someone who is looking to add more fruits and vegetables. You know, I mean, realistically, like we're saying, this would be, all of these tools can be really handy no matter what diet you follow. But for the raw vegan chef, I feel like these sorts of tools that we'll go through, just a few of them here today, are really handy, really beneficial in so many ways. So yeah, that was basically the inspiration behind building this course. And what we could do today is we can kind of break it down into somewhat the same layout as it's done in the course, talking about the essentials. Because really, I'm like looking at Lissa, I'm like, what does a raw vegan really need? Like, a raw vegan really just needs a knife and a cutting board, right?
Technically, yeah, right? And then, you venture into like the blender, because I think out of all the appliances, we use the blender the most.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would probably be your knife, cutting board, your bowls, your forks, and a blender, really. And then when you venture into other stuff, you get more creative.
Right.
But basically, like, that's really all you need.
I know, in so many ways, the knife, the cutting board, and like she's saying, the bowl and the fork, because after you cut up, say, your papaya or your melon or whatever it may be, your salad, you need to have something to put it in and something to eat it with, right? So a knife, a cutting board, a bowl, and a fork. A spoon is pretty handy as well. All those are really basic. Most people have those in their kitchen, and that I feel in a lot of ways is the essentials. And that's kind of one of the things that we like to bring with us when we travel, is we've got a Rubbermaid Tupperware container. Well, it's not a I guess Rubbermaid and Tupperware, that's two different brands. Basically, it's just a container with a lid that we can keep in our vehicle, filled with a few of these different items that we like to have with us when we do travel. We're able to just grab that container, bring it into the Airbnb or to the hotel room or whatever, but it's the essentials that we bring with us. Yeah. So what I have, you want to grab it, babe? I've got the essentials, kick them back over here, and we'll go through each individual piece, of course, here on the counter. But let's break into these essentials, right? So we have a cutting board. Right? Most people know what a cutting board is and how to use the cutting board. And these are really nice. These aren't necessarily real forgiving on your blade because they're pretty thin, right? And then of course you've got your hard like bamboo cutting board. This is a really handy piece of equipment to have in the kitchen. I like using the flexi cutting boards because after you cut up something, you can just kind of grab the whole thing, fold it, and pour it into your bowl.
I love that about those.
Right?
It makes it so much easier. You're not like scraping it off the wood. So, I mean, it depends. Like some people don't like that. Some people like the wood instead, but we're just offering options.
Well, the wood is nice too. Like if you are laying out something, you know, maybe you've got a bunch of fruit laid out, it's real pretty like, or you have some appetizers. It's nice to be able to serve up, or if you need to actually move something real quick in the kitchen, make room for something else. A hard cutting board is pretty nice to be able to use as well.
Yeah.
So, but basically these are our favorite, these cutting boards. They're super cheap. You can find them in all different areas. You want to make sure that it's BPA free, of course, is better. But those are so handy. And then of course the knife, right? So the knife, and what I like about this particular knife is the sheath, right? Now this knife actually didn't come with this sheath. This knife actually didn't have a sheath, and it's such a nice knife, but it's identical to the knife that came with the sheath. And the knife that came with the sheath was basically $5, and this is about $300 or $400. And honestly, I know, people who maybe are very into knives or collecting knives might cringe at this, but it's really hard to tell the difference between a $5 knife and a $400 knife is if the blade is sharp. That's the main thing, is keeping your blade sharp. So I really feel that a sheath is really nice to have for your knife because it's easy to handle, or take traveling. If you do need to slip it into your silverware drawer, it's not going to mess up your sharp, beautiful blade. And then of course, the sharpener. This is kind of like the training wheels of sharpeners. You just kind of drag your knife back and forth on this stone. That's the way this one works. There's some where you just drag them through. And I'm just now learning about the whetstone sharpening. So I don't really know very much there, but I know that is the best way to sharpen a knife. But for those people who are, I've been using this very sharpener for over 5 years. It's so awesome. You just run through basically like every morning, and the knife is nice and sharp for the day. And of course, just that alone, knife sharpening, it goes so deep.
Yeah, there's you could do a whole hour course on it. And I like that quote that says a sharp knife is a safe knife.
Yes.
So it's good to have a sharp knife to stay safe.
Absolutely. So that's another reason why a sheath is nice, is because after you've honed in your edge or the blade, right? You want to keep it sharp, and so keeping it in a cover is really nice. So yeah, then we've got bowls. So I've got 4 bowls here, and I wanted to just kind of show you the variation of sizes. Look at the sizes here. So we've got all different sizes. That is kind of like your typical dinner salad bowl, or maybe like a little soup bowl or cereal bowl. That's a real common size of bowl. Most people have a bowl like that. Mm-hmm. And then you've got a bowl like this. And if you see the variation of these 2 sizes, say for the raw vegan, who eats a lot
of nothing, it's a snack.
This is a very, very nice little serving bowl for maybe some microgreens or some
nice cream.
Yeah, or like some cut up tomatoes or onions, and you're just having it to serve out of. But as far as utilizing it as the bowl that you want to eat your salad out of, it's nice to have a bigger size bowl, because when you're eating raw, fresh fruits and vegetables, they're not very calorically dense. So you have
to eat more.
And as you see here, these 2 different sizes of bowls, we actually were using a bowl like this size and making our salad in it, but we would make it so big, like over the top, that it was really tricky to mix it and get the dressing all over it. So we started using a bigger bowl, and this bigger bowl Actually, just basically our salads got bigger.
And then we couldn't mix it in this one, so we had to use this.
So then we got the actual mixing bowl, and I don't really recall how many cups or what size this is, but it's this size, as you guys can see. Now, these can be purchased at different areas on Amazon or like Winco or Costco. You can order these kinds of bowls. I think your dad gave.
Yeah,
us
my
this bowl.
dad found one at a garage sale and he's like, I got you a big bowl to mix your salads in.
So this is a really nice bowl. We will sometimes make our salads and then toss them in here and then just use, I've got the tongs over there, babe, under the strainers.
Right.
So these are really handy too. There's some mixing spoons, right? Most people know what salad mixing spoons are like. So we use these pretty much every day. We'll use them again today with this big mixing bowl. So these here, now, of course, you don't need to have this big bowl. This just makes it very nice and handy, especially if you have like a bunch of friends coming over and you want to make a big salad. It's such a nice bowl. I find that I miss this bowl when we do travel some places because I'm like, dang, we have to mix the dressing in our regular serving bowl.
Yeah.
But it just makes it nice.
Yeah, for bowls, having different size bowls is very awesome as a raw vegan because again, we're eating more volume
Yeah.
to get enough calories.
Man, massive.
So yeah.
And then of course, we were talking about the fork and the spoon, right? So I really like bamboo forks. It's just nicer if you do bite down. I've chipped my tooth kind of biting down before sliding the fork out of my mouth, and I've chipped my front tooth on a metal
That was a
fork.
long time ago.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start using a wood fork for eating my salad. That's perfect. And of course, if you use metal, just be careful. But I really like the bamboo wooden fork.
And when you switch over, you get used to the bamboo wood sensation of
Yeah.
eating with the wood. Because at first, like when I met you, you were using the wood.
Well, there's
Yeah.
different kinds of wood finishes too.
Right.
And there's some wood that's more natural and it's like that popsicle stick, which is
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
fingernails on a chalkboard. I can't handle having that kind of a feeling of wood in my mouth. And we actually have some forks like that.
Mhm.
And I don't like using them. These ones here have a nice kind of a finish on them. And I don't know what they finished it with. I should know this. Hopefully it's safe for us. I'm sure it's probably
Food
fine.
safe, yeah.
It's got to be food safe, but these are really nice wooden forks. And then of course there you got the wooden spoon.
This is his favorite spoon of all the spoons.
As you can tell, it's kind of discolored. It's longer. I really like the length of it. It's a nice long spoon. I have tried and tried to find this spoon. I cannot find it. It's an A Cook, AKCOOK, A Cook brand. And I just love it. I'm gonna have to like maybe sand it and give it some new oil here again. But this is amazing.
And he likes it too because it goes into the blender so he can
Right.
have his nice cream.
I can reach.
He doesn't even have to take it out of the blender.
I can reach right down into and just eat right out of here my nice cream. So
Well,
that's,
speaking of nice cream, how's that going with the Ninja Creamy?
oh my gosh. So to be completely transparent, to be really honest, it is still right over there on the kitchen table in the box, untouched, because really I wanted to be able to unbox it and be able to make like content about it, like
Mhm.
unboxing it and setting it up, maybe make a YouTube video about it. So I haven't even touched it because we've been so focused on the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle and all the lives and everything. So I wanted to give it proper attention that it deserves. And I'm just like too scattered right now to focus on doing anything with it. But definitely, as soon as this bundle's over, I'm actually planning, my plan is this weekend, because the bundle ends Thursday, you guys, for everybody tuning in.
2 days left. That's it. And then the raw bundle will be gone until 2024.
Right, ends Thursday night, 11 p.m. PST.
Midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah,
Okay,
midnight.
that's nice. That's
Mhm.
easier. Midnight Thursday, it's gone forever, never to return. It's one of the best deals you can get. So be sure to click the link, go to the website, look at the video, see what's involved and how to download everything. You have all these products forever. It's amazing. So yeah, as soon as the bundle's over, Ninja Creamy's on the front stand. It's definitely it's coming on the front burner. It's on the second burner right now. We don't cook anything, but that's a term that I feel most people will understand. So what we've got here is a spoon. This is a grapefruit spoon. And for those of you who eat grapefruit, probably know about the grapefruit spoon. It basically just has some like almost like serrated edges, but they're not real sharp along the tip. So it just makes it easy to just slide your spoon in and then just give it a turn this way and a turn that way. And then there's your piece of grapefruit right in between the membrane. I'm like getting
Yeah,
my mouth's
want some grapefruit.
my mouth's watering just thinking about it. So I feel that these tools here are very essential in my life. And I'm just sharing my perspective, of course, with you guys here today. These are great tools.
Another thing that I really like about the grapefruit spoon and that like slightly serrated edge is that if you guys get the bundle and you get the Make It Raw, you download the Make It Raw ebook with the stuffed mushrooms that Yin made, I use the grapefruit spoon to cut the center of the mushrooms out. It works really, really.
I do that too.
Great minds.
It's
think
so
alike.
good.
But it's a great tip.
Yep, absolutely. So it can be used for other things than what it was actually designed for. But I mean, that's what's so cool with some of these tools is you find that it really works well for certain things. So yeah, and Lissa's used that several times to scrape out the mushroom because you can get a nice even, you get more space in the mushroom to put more of the filling, which the filling is delicious. You want more of that filling. And I personally really appreciate that because I don't really like mushrooms. I'm not super crazy about mushrooms. And so I like them when they are a little thinner. I don't like a real meaty mushroom all the time. Once in a while, but it's always, even since I was a little kid, I've always had a thing with mushrooms. I do eat them, but yeah. So anyways, whatever the case is, those are handy. So then we get into, after the essentials, like in the course, I'm explaining these things, you know, and maybe talking about the rags.
Oh, yes.
The rags are also, I feel like, very essential. You want to keep your stuff clean, right? Keep your knife clean, keep everything clean, wipe your cutting board down. So we've got, these are Norwex rags. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Norwex rags, but just do a search. These are great rags. They're a microfiber with backlock in them, meaning they're made with silver.
Yeah.
So it helps with any kind of bacterial growth. You know, you still have to wash them, but what's nice is you don't need like crazy strong cleaners. You just use water, wipe it down, and I love it.
And since we moved over to the Norwex, we used to both in our past lives, we used to use a lot of paper towel. And so switching over to these, because like we invested in them, we got to learn about why they're really good. And also like it's a very high quality microfiber. So there's less like, I don't want to say leakage, but like the fibers, there's less fibers that are damaged when during washing. But you can also get something called a guppy bag. And guppy bags are bags that you can put microfiber things like cloths and stuff in, which actually traps any of the microfibers that leave. Like there's some really cheap microfibers out there, like at the dollar store and stuff, and those ones are not really good quality. So there's a lot of microfibers that end up in the water supply. But if you have a guppy bag and you can put all of your cloths into the guppy bag and then throw the guppy bag into the washer, and you can wash all your rags in there, and you don't get as much of the microfibers going into the
dust
water.
off or something. Yeah, because you can just picture how fibers of would naturally start to wear off. But yeah, these have been really amazing. This one that Lissa's holding is just a little washcloth. It's got a nice texture to it. We use these to wash our dishes. We just add a little soap to it, scrub up our jars or silverware, bowls and different things.
And it soaks up like 4 times the amount of water of a paper towel of the same size. So they're like the size of those like little half pairs. Yeah, I love them so much.
Me too. I mean, really the only time that we tap into the paper towels, which we've had the same roll that's on the fridge that we've been working on
for 2 years.
I think actually maybe we opened it here. Or I'm like, did we move?
I know,
it?
right?
We might have moved with it. It was already we were. Either way, we barely use paper towels. Paper towels are great though for like a really messy spill, and you just don't want to get all your rag all dirty, or maybe you have to wipe something off the floor. So, you know, we still do use paper towels, but our whole household is full of these Norwex for our bath towels and different things. But these are very handy. I feel like a towel, a good high quality rag, a washcloth or something like that is nice because sponges get real funky. And now, of course, a trick that we used to do is I know some people will boil their sponge, and that would be a better way to go about it than microwaving your sponge. But we used to microwave the sponge just to kill all the bacteria and pathogens and whatever's growing there. You know how they smell like funky after a little while. Well, what's cool is after we use the rag, like if I wash dishes for the day and then I clean the sink, that rag goes in the dirty clothes and we just grab another one. So we're using fresh cloths every day, but I feel that these are so important in so many ways because it's really important to keep your stuff clean.
Yeah.
So
What do we have next?
next thing I'm thinking, you know, something very simple. What were you thinking?
I don't know. I was thinking the Vitamix because that's like,
Vitamix is so epic.
that's kind of one of those really important appliances
So
that
important.
we use every single day,
Yeah.
blending our smoothies, blending our dressings, if we make a raw soup, or even blending the wraps.
Oh my
right? Because we blend the
Right.
wraps in the hand salads ebook that you can get in the bundle right now. You blend it in the blender and you pour it into the trays, and we could probably talk about those if we talk.
I've got them right here
Yeah, you
too.
do? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later, but the blender is so essential. Like it gets us our smoothies, our dressings, our
So
soups, our wraps, like it's part of our day-to-day life. So
Absolutely.
I would say that's next.
Well, let's pull it out then, because if the queen says it's next, it is next. So what I've got here is this is a craft, and as you can see, we've got some headphones on there. I really do feel like coupled with your high-speed blender, it might be wise to invest $12 to $15 in some ear protection. So that way, when you are blending, whatever you're blending, you're protecting your ears because it's pretty loud. And if you're doing several of those a day, right, just the decibels.
Just prevention.
The decibels are loud, protect those ears. We only get the one set. So, okay, now I don't know, Chef AJ, can you see this Vitamix over here or no?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
actual- okay, cool. So this here, you guys, is the Vitamix blender. They don't make this particular model. I just called Vitamix this morning to actually ask them a couple questions. And I asked them about this particular model because I love it, but they don't make this particular model anymore. So what they have for this legacy series, this style of base, is the 5200, which Lissa has the 5200. It does work great. This is a 6300. It just has a few more bells and whistles on it. And it comes with this base that's narrow. And now Vitamix, I'm kind of sad to learn this, but they're phasing out this particular base or this craft. And what I like about this is the width of this bottom base. They're doing what's called the low profile, which is a wider base at the bottom. And you need to put more ingredients in there to be able to mix it properly. I like the narrow base because you could do smaller batches of sauces. And if you want to make like sour cream, but you don't want to make 2 cups of cashew sour cream, you just want half a cup. So that's what I really like about the narrow base. And of course, this is something that, like I said, it kind of saddens me in a way that they say they're starting to phase this particular model of craft out. So
But if you have an old base, you could still get the BioChef base.
The BioChef, which both of these are the same, basically the same bases, right? That this fits on the Vitamix. This is the Vitamix Craft. This one fits on the Vitamix. And I'll tap in and explain a little bit more about how awesome that particular thing is in just a second. I wanted to just go over why the Vitamix I feel is so amazing. And that's because of this tamping wand, right? This right here, this tool, no matter what kind of blender you have, I think Blend Tech is doing something as well. This has a lip on the edge and it can't go down any deeper than it hits the lid. And it's just barely above the blades down here. So this right here really makes it nice. I know maybe some of you out there tuning in may understand like blending a smoothie and stuff's not mixing and you wish you could just kind of like push something down. Some people have used their spoon and they just, it dangerous. It can mess you up. So this is a really incredible aspect to the Vitamix is the tamping one, because you can actually manually force stuff down into those high-speed spinning blades. So yeah, to elaborate on this aside from the knife and the cutting board and bowl and fork, this is something I feel that realistically doesn't matter what kind of a household you have, and who's following what diet. This piece of equipment is beneficial to every single person on the planet. I do truly feel like that. It does. You don't have to be a vegan or a raw vegan or a whole food plant-based eater. Like, man, being able to blend up stuff like really nice, thick and creamy, no chunks, a good quality blender like the Vitamix is amazing. And this company's been around since 1969. So this is a tried and true company. And that right there was hard for me to purchase because it was $550. That was a reconditioned model. And some of these blenders, if you look at them, they're $700 to maybe even $1,500, depending if you're getting like a commercial style one. And that's a big investment, but they do payment plans, which that's really helpful. I did a payment plan because when I was following Lissa, before she even knew who I was, she kept telling me high-speed blender, high-speed blender. And I'm like, what is a high-speed blender?
Right.
Like I've got a Ninja. A Ninja's a high-speed blender. That thing spins, man. But it's not a Vitamix.
Not a Vitamix.
Or
Yeah.
Blendtec. I feel like Blendtec is another, like I've got a couple of friends who have them. I've seen them blend and they're really close to the same kind of a blend as the Vitamix. They're just an amazing machine. So that was something that I got right away because as a raw foodie, I was like, I need this.
Yeah.
This is important. And we heard about this setup in 2019. Our friend John Kohler talked about the benefits of blending under vacuum. And we're like, it's kind of over our head. And we didn't really pay attention to what he was saying and how he was trying to, pass over some education to us. And it wasn't until, well, it's been maybe 2 years now.
2021.
Okay, it was 21. So it was, we moved here and he started talking about vacuum blending again. And we're like, okay, break it down. Why is this so awesome? Tell us about this. And after he explained what was going on, we invested in this upgrade in this whole system. This is a vacuum. This is a special craft with a special airtight lid, and it has a different kind of a bearing system down here because you're sucking so hard all the air out of the craft. This whole system comes as one, just like this. And this just pops right on, basically replaces this craft, and you can use this. We still use this one to make certain things like quiche, anything that we want to use the tamping wand with, we use it because that's really handy. But blending under vacuum.
Yeah, so blending under vacuum for the health benefits, and this is what John was trying to explain to us, and we finally got it, and we're like, why didn't we get this like years ago? So when you blend up regular, like when you blend in that one, you're basically blending air into whatever you're blending. So you're blending a smoothie, you're blending air into it. You're blending a sauce, you're blending extra air into it. And that extra air, because you're constantly blending it, actually oxidizes. It starts to oxidize whatever you are blending. So your fruit smoothie, your dressings, your raw soups, or whatever you're blending in there, it starts to oxidize faster than if you blend it under vacuum, where there's no or hardly, like very, very little actual air in here. So you're blending it without putting all that extra air in. Now, number one, this is amazing for people who have extra gas. If you're drinking a lot of smoothies and you're making a lot of dressings and you have a little extra gas, switching over to a vacuum blender can really help, because if you drink the air that you're blending into your smoothie, it's going to go somewhere, right? So switching over to a vacuum blender is really helpful, but it also improves the texture because you're not blending a bunch of air and it's not getting really frothy and foamy. It improves the taste because you're not now having extra air in whatever you're tasting. It tastes way better. Like everything is so much better. The color is better. Like we even compared, John came over and we did like a side by side where we blended in that one and in this one, the exact same ingredients. And the vacuum blended smoothies are like a more vibrant color. They're thicker, the consistency is better, and they last longer. That's like the other point, is that if you blend under vacuum and if you seal under vacuum, which we'll show in a second, if you vacuum blend and then vacuum seal, you can have smoothies or sauces last up to like, I mean, we've had stuff up to 5-6 days if it's like got a little fats in it, but like if it's under vacuum, because really it goes bad when there's oxygen involved, and that's what makes things go bad. So when you take away the oxygen, things last a lot better. So we're like, yeah, why didn't we buy this a long time ago? So we actually have a backup jug with lid and vacuum just in case anything happens to this one. But we've been using it for, I don't know, like almost 2 years straight.
Every day.
Every day we use the vacuum blender. It's amazing.
It does come with a plug in the back, so you can plug it into the wall. It's just a cord, it plugs right in. I didn't bring that part over. Or you can undo the lid and it runs off of 6 AA batteries. But we use it so much, we just keep it plugged in and it just lives right next to the blender on the counter. This is a great addition, like Lissa is saying. I mean, it removes the oxygen from what you're blending. So your soups, your stews, your smoothies, your dressings.
And oxidation actually can interact with like the nutrition. So on blending under vacuum is actually more nutritious as well. So all the links to everything that we're talking about are in Nate's course. So if you buy the bundle, 2 days left, link in description. Nate's course has like all the links to all the stuff. So if you're interested, that's where you can find all the goodies.
I kind of nerded out, and not to like make fun of nerds, because I like to think that I'm kind of a nerd.
I'm a geek too.
But I built a store. Right. So each module, below that module, there's just a PDF download, and that's the storefront, and everything is pictured. So if you're like, oh, can't remember what that was called, you can just see the picture. And so it's like a catalog. So I built a catalog basically. So that way, if you do want to invest in any of these pieces of equipment, this one here, is actually purchased through John's website, which I've had a few
discountjuicers.com.
I've had a few people, discountjuicers.com. I've had a few people ask me, is this site legit?
Yeah.
Because
it looks like it was made in the 90s, but it's legit.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Looks like it was made in 1991 for sure. So, but he's a good guy, and he will definitely, make sure you get your upgrade. This is an amazing upgrade. And this is something that I wish that I would have really embodied and known about. I don't think that it was even available though when I became Raw in 2017. But this is kind of newer technology in a way, but it makes perfect sense, right? You're just not blending air into your particular item, which is lasting longer. So we would have got this upgrade I would have purchased this alongside with the blender right away. It's absolutely changed the game for us. And like Lissa was saying, then you blend up your dressing or your smoothie. Now you want to pour it in a jar, and you made extra. You pour some on your salad, or maybe you blend it up like a soup or something. So of course, everybody knows what a mason jar looks like. This is a wide mouth mason jar, and this just has the regular lid, right? It has the ring and then the regular lid. Now there's a way to actually, we don't have that mechanism. I want to invest in it.
Yeah.
You put this lid on it, and then you just put the other thing on top, and you can suck out the air out of this particular lid, which is really cool. So we do need to invest in that particular piece of equipment.
But because we don't have that, we have these lids.
Now these lids, another tip that we learned from John Kohler.
Every time we hang out with John, he's always got some new thing, and we're like, oh, well, I guess we're going to buy that now.
Amazing. Yeah, he actually, little side note, he actually suggested, he's like, you guys should get a countertop for the roll around table so you have more space to do stuff on. We're like, okay, here we go. We better get a countertop. So, but John's really just all about trying to help everyone up their game. And this combination is amazing. This is a pump, a vacuum pump. It sucks the air. It's nothing fancy. It's a manual pump. And then this lid right here is really amazing, because this has the rubber seal around it. And then it's got this cool little O-ring and plastic deal right in the middle. Now there are ways that you can make your own lid. And you guys actually did a video on that, which is really cool. So you can make your own, but you still need the pump. You could use this pump.
But it's not very strong. Like doing the manual way, you can get way more air out.
So what we have here, you smell that when I opened it? So what we have here, this is some pea microgreens. We grow a lot of microgreens, and sometimes we don't finish them all in time. We're like, oh, they're starting to kind of wither. They're looking like they need to be harvested and eaten right now, but we're not going to be able to eat them all right now. So what we do is we dehydrate them. And so you can put them in a jar. Now let's just picture, no matter what you want to put in your jar, maybe you just made a fresh juice, made a smoothie, a beautiful dressing. So you just put that lid on.
And you don't want to go too high, because as you suck the air out, it grows. So you want to leave like maybe 2 inches from the lid, or from the very, very top, just to give enough space, because as you suck the air out, it does grow, and you don't want it to get into your vacuum.
Yeah, especially if it wasn't blended under vacuum, there could be more air in it. But you'll watch as you start to suck it, the thing starts to like come up to the top.
Yeah, like
so
smoothies and
basically you just take and just suck the air out, and it's like, it's strong. When you do it by hand, you can actually do really well. But something like this will work. You can just put that right on top. And I'm sure there's even other vacuums out there.
And then check it out.
So it's
sealed. It's good to go. It's not going to oxidize as fast. It's going to preserve much better. And like Nate said, you can do it with dressings and smoothies and whatever you make. You can seal under vacuum, and things, you got an extra
day or two.
Yeah.
An extra day or two. For say a fat-free dressing, it does taste different hours later, and especially the next day. And with vacuuming or sealing it under vacuum, it actually tastes like it was freshly blended the very next day.
It's really cool.
Second day or third day, I should say, third day, you can taste it's not as fresh, but you get at least an extra day of freshness.
So it's a great thing for food prep.
Massive. Yeah. And of course, as you can imagine, like we'll show you some other stuff that we've stored inside these with these lids. But the lids, this actual package, which is also linked in the course, it comes with a pump, and it comes with 16 of these lids. So it's really nice.
It's like $24.
Yeah, $24 for the pump and 16 of the lids. So that has been a really nice addition, and almost like, in a way, if someone didn't have a high-speed blender, maybe they just had a juicer. This would be a great way to store your juices. I know a lot of people are really into making a lot of juices. This would be a great way to store the juice in your fridge, right? It's under vacuum. There's no air in there to start oxidizing. So that is basically a lot of information in a lot of ways, but the Vitamix, blending under vacuum, storing under vacuum, that's just going to prolong your substance, whatever you're blending. And like Lissa's saying, less chances of gas and bloating and stuff because you're not blending air into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then let's say now you've got your Vitamix, you've got your essentials. What would be the next thing that you want to invest in?
It's a toss-up. I mean, everything is so really amazing. I would say it would tie between three things on this table.
Okay.
I would have a problem trying to decide what to get, but honestly, if I was to choose, I would probably go with the sprout
That's
wrap.
what I was going to say.
Yeah. And then I would get the spiralizer, and then I would get the food processor.
In that order.
But they're all tied. Like, I wouldn't really give them an order, but yeah, the sprouting would be definitely, because it's a living food creation.
And doesn't matter what diet people in the world are following, everybody can be making more sprouts. You simply toss in some seeds. We have mung bean and lentil. Actually, mung bean and lentil. So, and the light was kind of messing with me. So you just throw in like maybe a quarter cup, couple tablespoons, soak it in water while you go to sleep. Next day, drain off the water, give it a rinse with some fresh water, drain it again, and you put it on this cool little rack. Now the rack system is really nice, and I've gone in detail about how to do these without having this particular rack system, but this is a really cute system, and it just looks really nice on your kitchen counter. Lissa got these for Christmas for us, and I love them. They're really sleek. It only holds the two, but as you can see, the jar is at an angle so it can drain out the water. You don't want your sprouts sitting in water, but really with sprouting, you're growing living, delicious foods, packed with vitamins and minerals within 24 hours. You could eat the mung beans and the lentils the very next day.
Yeah.
So, you let them go for a couple of days, and that's living food that you're growing right on your kitchen counter. Add that into different meals, put them in your smoothie, put them in your soups and your wraps and whatever. If you eat food, add sprouts to it.
Yeah. So then I would say the spiralizer.
The spiralizer.
It's really cool for variety of shape.
So we've got a nice big English cucumber. We would clip off the ends to make it nice. I actually got these out because I was thinking, I'm like, we could do a little demo. But basically, what this does is it's a manual turn. You just turn it manually, and it just, you have to kind of use a little force, and it pushes it in. There's some automatic ones that are really awesome. But this is another way to cut a cucumber or a zucchini or like a carrot or an apple even. Some people do potatoes because there's a couple different attachments on here. You can spiralize different ways. But we like to make noodles out of cucumbers. And it's just a fun way to eat a cucumber rather than just cutting it up how you'd normally, maybe like half moons or quarter moons or whatever, or coins.
I like the spiralized cucumber added to salad
Man,
too. It gives
so
kind of
good.
a nice texture. It's a little
It's
different.
so nice. Yeah, we're making a dish with like a creamy pesto or even like a
Ooh.
tomato, a mushroom marinara style sauce. And when you do your mushroom marinara under vacuum, it's so different. It's not all frothy and foamy.
Yeah.
It's just so thick and creamy. But yeah, like Lissa's saying, this is actually her device. I had a different one.
I've had this for almost 9 years.
I like this one because it goes out this far. And so you can pretty much fit an entire English cucumber in here, to where some spiralizers only may open up about this much. So that means you'd have to cut your cucumber down, or maybe that'd fit the zucchini really nice. But this is a really handy tool, something that we use like pretty much on the weekly.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice one, a spiralizer. And then like I was saying, it comes with some different attachments. You just take, you've got just a regular, this is like a spiralizer or
Like a flat kind of
like a ribbon.
Yeah, ribbon.
And then there's a bigger, this one over here is a bigger it basically makes like bigger noodles. We've got kind of the finer noodle on there, but you can just slip in the different ones. And these are fairly inexpensive, maybe $20, $25. And the sprouting kit is about the same, about $25. So not too bad.
And then we have the food processor, which is a really cool tool that I've actually never had until I met Nate. I did have a little one, but I never had a big, nice, good food processor because I just made everything in the blender. But when I started using the food processor, I realized with the S-Blade, like you blend it, but it's not puree. It's got a different texture, which is really great for certain things. Like it's nice to have both.
I couldn't deal with the small one.
Yeah, it was too small.
And before actually I had met Lissa, I got this because some of her recipes required processing the food a certain way. So we actually have a couple different attachments from these, and a lot of people might know what this is. This is a very common piece of kitchen equipment, especially, I feel for certain generations, this is a very common piece to have in the household. So you've got your S-Blade, and then we also have a different attachment on here. I didn't grab it. It basically sits up top here, and it's basically like a cheese grater. Right, so you can grate stuff like beets, carrots, these sorts of things, or you can make, different pâtés and different things. Like you could make an ice cream in this thing.
Oh yeah, you can.
You could make different like nut milks. You could make all kinds of stuff. So what we use it for? What do we use it mostly for?
Mostly we use it for making burgers, raw burgers. So we just put like a bunch of different veggies in there, small amount of nuts and seeds, and we blend it and then we form them into patties. We like to use our dehydrator trays, which we'll get to. But we like to use like a spatula, and then once we take out the amount, which we like to use an ice cream scooper. Yeah. And we just scoop out a scoop and we put it on the dehydrator tray.
Which we have right here.
Swap
it out.
So we'll just put like one scoop of whatever, and then we can fit 9 patties on one of these trays. And then we just take a spatula instead of like, the thing with raw food is like, it is a little different prep, but it's so easy. And it's like, you have to switch because like a normal patty you do with your hands or whatever. But with the raw patties, because they are a little bit more watery, they don't really like, they go through your fingers and it's not fun. But if you use the ice cream scoop and then you just take a spatula and you just like flatten it out into a patty shape, you don't even have to touch it. It's great. So then you just do all 9 and you put them in the dehydrator, you're good to go. So that's how we make the patties. But we also use it to make salsas and taco meat and
mushroom
filling,
quiche.
For the mushrooms. Yeah, there's so much we can use that for.
The food processor is like I put it in the module in the course in the heavy hitters because I think I paid $275 for this, but I believe on Amazon, because I got the links for my catalog, I believe this is about $175 now. This is a Cuisinart machine, and it's a very, very strong motor. And I did some research. I just wanted to get a good one that was going to last me for decades. And this has definitely been an awesome machine. Yeah. So I feel that this right here is so handy because really it's all about just processing the food. Like I want to eat right now. Let's make a slaw. I want to eat a slaw right now. And you've got your big old, maybe you're doing like some jicama and some beets and carrots. You just be like, it just cuts it so fast. And I love that. And then of course, raw foods are amazing. We're not using any oils. So you just rinse it.
Yep.
It's so
Super
easy.
easy.
And yeah, that's another thing too. When she was talking about the burgers, unless you have like a super high fat burger made with like lots of seeds,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, like doing it like she's saying with the spatula on the tray works out nice. So yeah, these right here, this doesn't live on our counter, but like the blender does, because we use the blender so much. But this is, yeah, man, it's an amazing piece of kitchen equipment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Next up, I would say one of my favorite kitchen appliances is the dehydrator.
Yes.
Because in the bundle, the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, my brand new Hand Salads Raw Vegan Wraps ebook, you need a dehydrator to make the wraps. And I've had a lot of people say, like, can you make them in the oven or whatever? And I don't know, because I don't use the oven, so I can't guarantee that they'll turn out if you try. But the whole point of a dehydrator is to have warm air, like you would on a hot summer day, so 110 to 115 Fahrenheit, with adequate airflow. With an oven, however, it goes too hot, but it also has no airflow. So you can't necessarily dehydrate stuff. You can bake stuff, but it's not the same.
Or the
Convection, yeah, as
convection.
long as the oven it has a dehydrator setting, because the whole point is you need the airflow. So you need a fan blowing the air, and you need like air to be able to escape, and you need moisture to be able to escape. And in an oven, you don't have those benefits. So that's why dehydrator is so cool. And for people who are like, oh, it's expensive, whatever. I was actually just talking to somebody who was on OfferUp. Like there's like Craigslist, OfferUp, Marketplace, whatever. You can go to these like used places. She got a brand new dehydrator that was used twice for 20 bucks, because these people just didn't want it anymore. And so you can find used dehydrators. You can get like a whole 9-tray used dehydrator for cheap if you look around, because there's always people selling dehydrators. But the dehydrator is an awesome tool for the raw foodie, because you can make such cool things like the wraps. You can use it to marinate vegetables in, like if you have like a marinara with mushrooms, or Chris Kendall's stew book, he uses that to like dehydrate mushrooms and other things. I use it a lot in the ebook I wrote with you about, like, you know, the sunchokes and other things that go in the dehydrator. So it's a really fun tool. We use it a few times a week, and we've got the new trays. So there's 2 different kinds of trays. Like this is like the regular Teflex tray,
which doesn't come with the dehydrator.
Yeah, you have to buy these separate. These ones we used for a really long time, but now that we have these new trays, we've been using these new trays instead.
Yeah, we're doing the burgers and the quiche and everything. We've been trying everything on these silicone trays. So really, like, I mean, this would do your fruit roll-ups. Like imagine, you know, you got the kids in the kitchen, you blend up a bunch of strawberries and lemons and apples and making delicious fruit roll-ups. These trays are amazing because they have the lip.
So you can make it a 1/4 inch thick all the way around. And then, so when at night, like actually tonight, we're blending wraps for tomorrow because we want to have wraps, and they're really easy to make. So when you get the bundle and you download the Hand Salads ebook, you can blend one. It makes 2 wraps. So you've got 2 of these trays. You just fill half the amount on each tray. And then you take an offset spatula. This has been amazing. Like I love offset spatulas now. Yeah. And then you just spread it out, and you spread it so it's a 1/4 inch thick around the entire mat. And the whole process to make the wraps is like maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah,
max.
15 at most.
Yeah. So you blend it like a smoothie. You pour it into the tray, and you have some fun spreading it out, and then you put it in the dehydrator, and it's in there for.
You get into your Zen mode. Yeah. Zen mode, you know, because there's those little sand things you like use a fork or a rake and just kind of Zen. So I feel that when I'm spreading the crackers or the wraps, it's kind of like that. Yeah. So now, like she was saying, look around for dehydrators. I found my dehydrator, my 9-tray Excalibur dehydrator, which is at the time it was $300 and some odd for a brand new one, but I got it for $125. I did have to drive an hour away, so it's 2 hours round trip. I did have to drive to go meet them, but yeah, such a great thing to do, and I'm really excited for that person who got the one for $20. And of course, there's different sizes and stuff, but really a dehydrator that is not the ring, the round one with the fan at the bottom with the hole, the center is, you know, a hollow, like a donut. Those ones are going to be a little trickier. I did have one of those. You had one of
I had
those. And
3.
I was
And then I
over
was like, I'm doing
over
Excalibur.
it, over it. And might as well just invest on something quality. And I like to picture or say, I like to say that the dehydrator is an oven for the raw foodie.
Yeah, in
the,
so many words.
it's
Yeah.
it's the raw foodie's oven, right? Because we don't cook stuff in an oven, but it's a really great way, like she's saying, you freeze your vegetables, you marinate them up, you toss them in the dehydrator right out of the freezer, put them in the dehydrator. When it's dehydrated after they've been frozen, it has a really similar texture to vegetables that have been lightly steamed,
Yeah.
which is just a nice way to go about eating your vegetables.
Yeah, so then we have a couple extra things that we can go over really quickly. We've got the mandolin, which is really fun for
Yeah.
slicing.
So all of these other things are just, they're not maybe like real necessary, but they're really fun. This is what's called a mandolin. And you've got a little knob over here. There's different kinds and you can adjust the thickness of what you're going to slice. So say you're going to slice a bell pepper, right? It's got this little doohickey that pokes into your apple or whatever and will hold it so it's keeping your fingers safe.
Mhm.
And you just slide this back and forth. And it slices whatever you want to slice, an apple, a potato, a beet, a bell pepper. It makes it fast to slice.
Mhm.
And there's different blades on here. So you could do matchstick apples if you wanted to do, or like maybe you do fries, like homemade fries. It has that setting, or the blades are kind of spaced to where you could do potato fries really quick. Fun, super fun piece of equipment. Same, not very expensive, maybe $20.
Yeah. Then we have our salad spinner. This is really great for washing your lettuce or washing. We like to wash grapes, strawberries, all of that in here. So that's a really fun one to have.
This one's a really cool one because we've gone through a couple different salad spinners. And one I had for a while had like a little pull string, like you're starting a lawnmower or something. And the string eventually broke. But this one is, you know, some of you might remember the toys. Remember you push the top.
Yeah.
And then the top is spinning on the floor. I used to have one of those because I was born in the 70s, and that was like something I feel like my parents had when they were younger. But this has been an awesome tool. We've had this, I feel like, pretty much the whole time. 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's still running strong. Everything is great. Same thing, about $20 for this particular item.
And then, I mean, we've got like the average stuff. We've got our measuring cups and spoons. We have this lemon reamer, which is amazing.
Let's tap into this real quick and why these would be so handy and why it would even be on the counter.
Go ahead.
Well, so Lissa's been having some people who have been having a little issues with their wraps. And it's really important when you actually are following a recipe, when someone has it formulated, unless you've tried it out several times and you know how you can kind of play with it. When it's formulated a certain way, it's really beneficial to make sure everything is measured out properly. Like when someone is saying, use a half a cup of this. How do you know what a half a cup is? It's kind of hard to eyeball a half a cup. So I feel that measuring cups and measuring spoon, that's why they're so important. It is to be able to make sure you're getting the right flavor and the right outcome.
Right. And especially another thing that we could, I don't know if the scale is here,
Oh, I do, yeah.
but scales are really important too in a raw foodie kitchen because, for example, with my recipes, a large onion to me might not be a large onion to you. So if in the recipe it says 1 large onion and 2 large tomatoes, what is that anyways, right? Like, and I try to have my recipes for my wraps universal, so anyone can make it. But like a large onion in California won't be the same as a large onion in Canada.
Right.
So what I have in my ebook are the weights for example, for the onions. It's like 860 grams of onion goes in. So then you're not questioning like, is it 1 small onion or should I do 2 small onions in place of 1 large one or whatever?
Or a 1/4 cup chopped is going to be different than a 1/4 cup not chopped.
Exactly. So it is important to have things like a scale so that you can make the recipe the way the creator made the recipe, right? So,
yeah. And this is a really cool scale. It's basically water resistant. Like you're not going to sit it and submerge it underwater or anything, but it's basically, where's the little plug here? It is just a USB, micro USB to charge it. I actually just charged it the other day and I haven't charged it since we bought it. So we don't use it like every single day, but everything that's in the raw vegan bundle,
Yes.
the recipes that are in there, everybody was instructed to put the weights in, which just for that reason, to make sure you're going to get the same outcome. So I really love that because of exactly like what Lissa is saying, like what is a small onion? One small onion, or use one, the juice of one lemon. Well, gosh, like what, there's small lemons and big lemons, and how much juice is that? The juice of one lemon.
Exactly. And even like the other day, you got Roma tomatoes and they were massive Roma tomatoes, when normally Roma tomatoes are slightly smaller. And I was like, that's interesting too, because if somebody's buying Roma tomatoes and one time they're bigger, it's going to affect the recipe. So it's important to weigh things.
Yeah, it really will. So anyways, just to elaborate on the measuring cups, because of people messaging and being like, I don't know what happened. And it's like, did you weigh out the onion that you needed? Because, some of these wraps, like that's kind of the base of them is the onion. And as someone who never made the wrap and, by myself, Lissa's like, formulating these, and I'm helping her do stuff. And I'm like, I want to make a wrap by myself. I'm like, are you sure this is the right amount of onion? Because there's a lot of onion in it. And it may be a little, interesting when you're not used to. It
can be intimidating too. You're like, is that going to work? But I tried and tested the recipes. So
just
we're
stick
good.
With, in her book, there's a link to a almost 30-minute video describing all of our trials and tribulations and all the woes that we went through and everything that she's done to get you the perfect wrap every time. Just follow her instructions, follow her guidance, weigh out your stuff, get a kitchen scale. I was saying, I think this was maybe like $15, $16 on Amazon. Really has been handy for weighing out stuff. Like, amazing.
And then this handy reamer, we use every single day, multiple times a day. I found this at like a little kitchen store in Oregon, and I got it for Nate for Christmas.
What store?
And Paddington
Station in Ashland, Oregon. If you guys are ever in, go check them out.
They've got some cute stuff. But I was like, I wish I would have bought more because they're so cool. Like they just fit on any wide mouth mason jar. So if you're making your lemon water in the morning, whatever.
Maybe you want to.
It's right here.
It's right on the jar.
So you can just squeeze your lemon right into the jar and you don't have to have an extra thing. So that's cool.
It's my favorite.
And then we have the funnels. These have been really helpful when filling jars.
Yes.
Or filling little spice containers. Like if we buy new spices.
Here.
Yeah, we'll put that in there. Yeah.
Say you're doing the spices, or you've got the squirt bottle.
Yep, squirt bottle is another fun thing on a raw vegan diet. You fill it with your sauce, and you can
decorate the sauce.
Decorate with your sauce.
Or we actually brought one of these up with us hiking the other day to drizzle on our wraps. We wrapped it in a Ziploc bag just in case, if it did leak in the bag or anything. The one that we were using was actually a condiment container, so it did have a cap. But funnels are really, I feel like, very important in the kitchen when you're wanting to fill stuff up. Man, so good.
And then we have spatulas, of course. We've got a few different kinds. We have like a really long, thin one that we can get into the Vitamix. This is our favorite one. It's an OXO. And it just gets right in there, and you can get like around the blades and stuff. Perfect. So good. This one here, I really like to spread sauces on wraps.
Or if you need to, like, say you're doing something in the food processor to get the stuff around the food processor. Now, of course, this is real basic stuff to like people who are chefs in the kitchen. Most people have spatulas, but man, they're so handy.
Exactly. And then metal strainers. These ones, I am like, metal strainers are so awesome. I do a lot of wet chopping when we make like cauliflower sushi rice and stuff, or for wet chopping any ingredients, really. The strainers are really awesome. Also like thawing the frozen veggies, like for Chris Kendall's stew and stuff, we like to put it in the strainer to strain off all the water. So or coconut too. So these have been really beneficial.
So like what we'll do, say if we're doing some coconut, is I just put these right on here just like this, and I pour the coconut water in here, and that way it catches any debris. So strainers, so handy. And you could actually sprout using one of these. You could just put your mung beans in, soak them in a bowl over water, and then you could sprout right in your strainer. But then of course you're not going to be able to use your strainer because you're sprouting in it. But that could be something that you use them for. But really a beneficial tool to have.
Very cool. And then an ice cream scoop, again, for the patties, for an ice cream. That's a fun one.
Yeah, totally. Like we were making the burgers, we've made the quiche, a few different raw vegan items. Ice cream scooper is nice because it's just a good portion control. You can just, every single one's going to be real uniform.
kitchen scissors. I mean,
Okay.
those are, every kitchen needs one.
Everybody's got some scissors, most
We
likely.
like the silicone straws because they don't hit your teeth. Like I've had some glass straws and some
Right.
metal straws, and when I do drinking through a straw is actually better for your teeth. If you're drinking like juices or smoothies or whatever, it bypasses like having extra acidity and sugar in your mouth. But like, yeah, I like the silicone straws better than the glass ones because I have hit my teeth and it's just uncomfortable. So these are
Right,
nice.
so good. And of course, all of these things that you're seeing on here are in the catalog.
Mhm.
So if you do want, like, I want those exact straws, we put them in there just for you. And they do come with a nice long cleaner, straw
Yeah.
cleaner, so you can swab and wash the straw, because that's really handy. But yeah, like Lissa says, man, these are so great. We use those every day.
Mhm. Then we have, this is my absolute favorite grater of all time. I love this one for some reason, but you know, everyone's got their favorites, right? So like, you find one that you like, but this one I like for grating garlic, grating ginger, grating turmeric, lemon
Zest.
zesting is
Zest.
really cool.
Yeah.
So this is one that I use quite often because I grate a lot of fresh garlic into my stuff.
I'm like looking around, like,
I
what
know
else do we need
we've
to
got
have?
so much stuff.
We gotta put other stuff on the counter that's really important, that it's really gonna help someone. So this would be the next set of a grater if you wanted to do like carrots or beets.
Mhm.
You know, this is like a typical cheese grater or whatnot. So we use this quite often too, like the sunchokes.
Yeah, sunchokes, we grate carrots, you know, pick them up.
Yeah, more of the harder stuff. But you could also run those through your food processor really quick. But if we're just doing one carrot real quick, I'm not going to take the food processor out to do it because it's just one carrot.
Yeah,
But-
and then the grinder, I'm glad you got that out
I
because,
know, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, because I thought, I was looking around, I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something.
right? So in my wraps book that you guys can get in the bundle, 2 days left, link in description, the hand salads ebook, I do have psyllium husk in the wraps, but there's also chia and flax. It depends on the wrap. Like you can interchange the two if you want, but we like to freshly grind our flax and chia. So we have a little coffee grinder. These things are like $10-15. And we have ours, obviously we don't drink coffee, grind coffee, but we use it to grind our seeds and we grind them fresh. And we'll grind a little extra because like we're making wraps tonight, so we have some extra. And we'll just have that so we can add that to our blender, and it's really great to have.
And why would we want to grind chia or flax?
So when you are using chia or flax, they're really mucilaginous and they gel up really well. They're good like vegan egg replacements and stuff. And they actually add some of that like fluidity to the wraps, and it's really essential to the wrapper. And I didn't want to make the wraps like high fat with like a cup of seed in it. So I have it so it's 1 tablespoon chia or flax per wrap with the psyllium. So it works, they work really good together, but you need to grind it first so that it's got more surface area to suck up more water and be more pliable. And it blends better when you crush it first, and also exposes more of the omega-3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's more, yeah, you're getting more omega-3 out of it too when you crack it open like that.
Yeah, and then we've got 2 more things, and then we could open for
Hey, Lissa, can I just ask you a couple of questions, or do you want me to wait until the end?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, just because you mentioned the wraps, and Annalise said I made the wrap recipe for the caramelized onion wrappers today. So that's awesome. And she's hoping to see and waiting to see and excited to see how they turn out. While you were talking about the Vitamix, Daria asked, has Vitamix said if they will start selling a vacuum attachment?
You know, that's a great question that I did not ask them this morning, and I'll have to get back in touch with them. There's another company out there called the DynaPro. And it's like a $500 system, and it's a vacuum blending system itself. DynaPro is the brand. So I know that there's that particular brand out there. And then I also saw that Chris Kendall from the Raw Advantage, who he's also another amazing contributor to this bundle. He's got his Cravings Busters Sweet and Savory Stews book in the which is so good. Yeah, I actually saw him use the Ascent Series base, not the Legacy. The Ascent, the newer base, and then he has the low profile container, and he was actually using the BioChef vacuum on there.
Yeah,
So
you had to like rig it to make it work.
I'm gonna pick his brain though and see what he's doing. And man, I really do hope that more like influencers
right.
can really start to bring out this information and why these things would be these need to be an option. These need to be an add-on option. And I mean, I feel that once people really understand, like, it's so simple, it takes a few extra seconds to suck the air out, it should just come standard.
Yeah.
The way that I view the stuff now, it should come standard with every single like high-end blender.
I agree. I think it should be across the board vacuum blending, but also if people want vacuum blenders, reach out to the companies, like send a message to Vitamix, call them up and be like, hey, you guys have, because the more of us that ask for it, because it's supply and demand, right?
They want to give us what.
Yeah, if we ask, if enough people ask for it, maybe they'll start, but for the time being, they don't have anything that I know of. Yeah.
Remember John was telling the story. He was saying that there was a company that was starting to make them, but they weren't selling very many, so they stopped production. So it's just, it did, you know, the technology or the mindset just really hasn't caught up, I guess, really. But hopefully, because I think after we started to kind of freak out about it, like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, this is game changing.
Yeah.
We had like probably, I don't know, 6 to 10 of our friends, people that we know in the computer that bought the blender, the BioChef, because we were freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And John's like, I've been trying to tell people for years. And it's like, I know we need to just listen to John more often. I mean, he's got some really great insights. He really is out there digging and trying to like pick the brains of the different creators and these companies and trying to bring us better quality stuff. So I really do trust his judgment. But yeah, it's sad to say that he has said there's been some companies that dipped off because they just weren't selling them as much. People don't know about it. We need more information and commercials and videos about the benefits of it. It just, and once I mean, if we think about it, you cut an apple and it's exposed to air, it turns brown unless you spray a little lemon juice on it. It's the oxygen. Like, we need oxygen, right? We have to have, but you know, the food that we're making, it's best to keep it, the less oxygen during the processing, the better. That's why, you know, blending under a vacuum, and then, you know, we will try not to get into the freeze dryer. But
another episode on Chef AJ about the freeze dryer.
Yeah, because freeze drying is also under a vacuum, so there's no air involved in extracting the water from the food, so you're retaining all this information. So stuff under vacuum, basically, it's a great way to preserve it. It's a great way to process. It's amazing. Yeah. So, but anyway,
one more question. This one is from Ronnie. Can you vacuum seal sprouts or other produce and not worry about moisture building up?
You know, that's a great question. And I personally feel that in a way, it depends on, I'm not an expert here, but it depends on what it would be. I feel that sprouts need to have a little airflow. So, you know, putting a mesh on top or leaving your sprouting lid on top.
They're alive.
Yeah, would be way more beneficial. They do need a little oxygen. They'll get funky if they don't, because I have tried that. But as far as vegetables, that's a really interesting one, because we do have the Debbie Meyer green boxes and the green bags. The bags we bring to put our produce in, and those are supposed to hold it fresher longer, which I definitely can tell the difference when I have cilantro in the clear bag that you get at the grocery store in the produce section, and then I buy cilantro and put it in the green bag. We've done it side by side, and the one in the clear bag doesn't last as long. So I wonder though, what produce would be best under vacuum?
And it really depends too, because like if we put sunchokes, for example, in a completely sealed container, they get bad faster, or they get soft faster, unless if we put them in a container that has holes in the top, because we have one Tupperware where we've poked holes. I don't remember why we did that, but we have one that has holes in the top. But that container, if we put sunchokes in that one in the fridge, those ones last longer. So I don't, like, it's more for preserving like freeze-dried food or dressings, stuff that you've already processed, we will say, would be the best.
Definitely agree, man. Yeah, that's something that, you know, it's kind of fun.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's fun to experiment yourself. Like, try it out. Throw some carrots in a jar and seal it under vacuum, and then see what happens. Because you know, that made me wonder, like, I wonder about the hard vegetables, or like ginger. You know, storing ginger in the fridge in a vacuum sealed jar, it might stay fresher longer.
We might start playing around.
We need to, because we don't know. That's a good. Now you're getting our gears turning, Ronnie. Appreciate that. So yeah, coffee grinder though, epic.
And Susanna says, you mentioned wet chopping cauliflower. Could you please remind me what that is, how you do that?
All right. So what you do is you have a head of cauliflower. This is the best way to make cauliflower rice, by the way, the best. It makes like you can like squish it and have like it's nice and like sticky-ish. It's stickier than the regular riced cauliflower. So this is the best way to do it.
And riced cauliflower regular would be just processed in the food process.
Correct. Normally you just process it in there, but they're chunkier, they don't stick as well. So anyways, you get a head of cauliflower, cut off the leaves, you can save the leaves for something else if you want. Fill your blender just over halfway with clean water, and then you take the chunks, like you don't want to have massive chunks, but chunky enough. Put those into the water.
How much?
A whole head.
A whole head.
Yeah, a whole head, like like a decent, small-ish, medium-sized head.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do 2 batches if you want, but I've just done the whole batch. But it just over halfway full of water, and then you put the cauliflower in, and then you put it on the base, and you blend for 3 seconds. You go 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, done. You don't want to go further than that because then it gets too fine and it turns like kind of mushy. You still want it to be rice-like, but not quite as big chunks.
Yeah.
3 seconds is perfect. Once it's done, you're going to have like this big, foamy, like frothy concoction of like white cauliflower, or purple if you do.
Right.
And then what we like to do, we have another glass bowl that we put this on top. You take your watery cauliflower and you pour it through the metal strainer. And then all the water is going to drip down. And then I like to take a spoon or a spatula or something. And then I like to play around with the cauliflower in here and I squish it against the side. And I try to get as much water as I can off of the cauliflower. You could also grab it and squeeze it and then put it into a bowl, but that's the best way to wet chop the cauliflower. And you can do that with carrot. We've done cauliflower with carrot, zucchini, and onion before. So good.
So good.
Because the carrot and the zucchini are a little stickier and that makes really great sushi rice. So that's a great way. You can also do like a tabbouleh style with the cauliflower or the paella or whatever. Like there's so many things you can do with riced cauliflower. So yeah, that's how we do it.
What about you can also use something like this?
Yeah, you could use a nut milk bag. I personally like the strainer better. It's easier to clean, but if you don't have a strainer, you can use a nut milk bag.
You could just squeeze the water out that way. But yeah, like she's saying, it's kind of nice to be able to just move because it's nice to have a little bit of moisture. Sometimes with a nut milk bag, you can squeeze out too much moisture.
Yeah, and then it's too dry and it doesn't stick. You want just enough.
Our cat's trying to climb in the box that we have the laptop on. I'm trying to scare him. Hey, don't climb that way. So yeah, definitely wet chop is so amazing. And as you're explaining this, I'm like, we need videos.
Yeah, I know.
Videos are
More videos.
yeah, because that's like something that I would just be like so engaged in sucking that up because I'd be like, I want to make rice cauliflower that's not going to fall apart everywhere. How do I do that?
Exactly.
But that's definitely game changing, wet chopping. And you could also do like onions and different things, like she's saying, carrots, zucchini, that way too.
Yeah.
But main thing, remember how she said 3 seconds only.
Yeah.
You're not making a smoothie.
And then really quick, we'll finish with these two and we can answer more questions. We got the whisk, obviously, is I like this little one, but this is the Cocoa Jack, and we have this tool. This tool is awesome for these are for scooping coconut out of a young coconut.
So here's your young coconut, and they cut them to where they have like a little, pyramid style shape. And these you can cut open with a knife, but it's very dangerous. So this tool here makes it so nice. You just pop it on there, smack it a couple times with a hammer, use the tool as leverage to just crack it open, and then you've got a nice big, 2-inch hole.
And then you take this tool and you just go in and you kind of go down the side like this, all the way around, and then you can just take out the young coconut. And we use young coconut in a fair, not a huge amount of stuff, but like a coconut quiche.
Maybe a half dozen recipes.
Yeah, we'll have a few of them in recipes a month, but that's a really fun way and safe way to open a coconut in a raw foodie kitchen, because we do use
coconuts are great. Who doesn't like some fresh coconut water? I know there's probably a lot of people who've never even had fresh coconut water. And another reason why the vacuum sealable lids, where did I put that?
Oh yeah,
it's so good. If you're cracking, maybe you're making some things where you need like the coconut meat of like 3 coconuts, but you're like, I'm not really that thirsty. You can save the coconut water. I like to pour it in the Vitamix using the strainer, pour the coconut water in there, and then it's easier to pour whatever out of the craft, right? So that's what I do. And then you could store the coconut water under vacuum and it'll stay fresher for
An extra couple days.
an extra couple days. But make sure you use it. Use the water, of course, like to blend your smoothie with, or maybe a dressing. Coconut water, so delicious. But yes, definitely that tool, amazing.
Yeah.
For-
Basically, that's
that's a good,
it's a big show, but
that's a good portion.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good portion of what we feel is like really important in a raw foodies kitchen. These are things that we use all the time. These are our main tools in a lot of ways. Aside from, you didn't get to see the dehydrator, we do have one behind us.
yeah,
here,
right here.
right? So they do take up a good amount, and it's like the size of a microwave. Anyway, I kind of feel like microwaves should be replaced with dehydrators in people's homes. But then, of course, yeah, we didn't show you the freeze dryer.
Yeah,
Which-
but we did an episode on the freeze dryer already,
Yep.
so people can
So
watch
check
that.
out that, and yeah, check
I think
out
it was
that.
episode
Two,
three.
three. There's
I think
three.
it was episode 3, yeah, for Feeling Great and Lissa and Nate. So you can go on Chef AJ's YouTube, search Feeling Great with Lissa and Nate, and watch episode 3 is all about the freeze dryer.
Or I
So-
get the course and I
Yeah.
go over it and talk about the freeze dryer in the course, but just to give you a little quick tip, this here is some marinated and freeze dried Brussels sprouts, which these are a delicious crispy snack stored under vacuum. And if you have an oxygen pack in here, this will last 20 years on the shelf.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So cool. But yep, that's what we got for you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you can take away some tidbits of information, and make sure you go check out that bundle, because man,
Because when it's gone, it's gone.
it's gone, and you're gonna have, once you have all the tools, you're like, what do I make? You need
Yeah.
to tap into those recipe books from the bundle, and you'll be tapping into pretty much all of these tools in a way
Mhm.
to make a lot of these
Well,
recipes.
truthfully, most of the tools you showed can be used in a regular kitchen, a regular vegan kitchen.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Regular vegan kitchen. I feel like really these are all very common kitchen tools that can benefit us in so many ways. Makes the job easier, quicker,
Yeah.
more efficient, cleaner, easier. And that's what we want in the kitchen. You know,
Yep.
we don't want to be. Yeah.
Great. Ronnie asks, when you use multiple veggies in the Vitamix, do you put them all in together?
That's a great question.
Yeah, for
Yep.
wet chopping, totally. Just mix them all together. You could do them separately and just mix them together. I mean, it's all going in the same bowl, right?
Yep. Yeah, like when we did the zucchini and carrot.
Yeah, we did
That
those
was-
together.
Man, that was such good. I loved the texture and the taste of those sushi rolls that we made with the.
So good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no cauliflower in it, huh? Was it just carrot?
I don't remember.
Or maybe it was those
It was
three.
yeah, I think it was all 3,
Maybe
but
it
it
was-
was such a great combination.
Gotta get that recipe out.
Yeah.
Another reason why the bundle's great, because you're like, I don't remember that recipe, but I know we have it in the book, so we just
Mhm.
tap in.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you. I learned so much when I watch you.
Thank
So
you.
glad.
And thanks for having us. We have so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, people are commenting that it was an excellent presentation.
Oh, great. So glad you guys could get something out of it.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, really fun. And we'll see you next month before, I don't know, there's a holiday, Father's Day. I don't know if that's a big one for people, if you have any ideas what you want to do, but I'm sure it'll be great. Because you're Lissa and Nate.
Interesting. I wonder, is
Father's Day.
it on Father's Day?
No, because
Okay.
we're going to Yellowstone actually to visit my dad
It's so cool.
for a day for Father's Day. So it's right before Father's Day. I think
You're up the
it's-
13th. Yeah, you're up the Tuesday before Father's Day on June 13th.
Before.
That's our last show too.
Oh, wow.
Well, not if you want to come back. I mean, hey, you could be renewed for another season. You never know.
Season 2.
Just send us the application. We'll see if we can apply and get certified.
Absolutely. And you got to get going on that Ninja Creamy book, my friend.
Yeah.
my God.
Oh yeah. That's his top priority after the bundle.
100% top priority. I am definitely going to be doing that. And I really am excited to do a lot of recipes in that book that are banana free, because I've had a lot of people say, oh, could you make them without banana? And I'm allergic to bananas. So that's going to be a cool one.
Yeah, but do some with banana, because some of us
Oh,
still
yeah.
love our
We're
bananas.
going to be doing bananas. We're going to be doing sorbets. We're going to be doing some higher fat stuff with maybe like some
Ooh.
coconut meats and some nuts or seeds to make
Nice.
them.
And some low fat stuff for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%. It's going to be mostly low fat, but I will have a few of those higher fat ones.
I wish you could use sweet potatoes, because it's, Hannah Yams makes such great sorbets.
We can actually, you can eat sweet potatoes raw. And in fact, in my wraps book, I have recipes using sweet potato for the wraps because it makes such an awesome fiber to hold the wrap together. So we've got the purple passion wrap uses purple sweet
so
potato. And we have like the light fleshed one and the orange fleshed one. So yeah, we've got different recipes that have sweet potato.
Inulin, inulin, or Allison?
Inulin and Allison. Yeah. Inulin is the fiber though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Allison,
The active
compound. So I'm even thinking of putting like some sweet onion into some of these recipes.
No.
Tiny amount. You're not even going to be able to taste it.
Okay,
But
well, I'm
you're
looking
doing
forward. It's going to be
it.
epic. It is going to be epic. Maybe it'll be ready in time for another bundle. Who knows?
might be.
That's definitely my goal. I'm going to keep this momentum going and focus straight on it. I mean, Lissa kicks out books while she sleeps.
I know.
So I need to like pick up and try to like put on my hat to connect with some cables and try to like get some downloads of how does she do this.
She is a machine. The word is prolific.
Yeah. What I like to call her is a UHP, an ultra high performer. She is an ultra high performer.
That's
100%.
that's because of
Just
her
like
diet.
you.
That's
Chef
because of her
AJ,
diet.
ultra high performer. Like, what did you put out? Like 12 YouTube videos or something?
Well, no, I can do it with video, but I'm not writing books. That is hard for me. But Lissa is a pro, man. And her mommy was on the show the other day.
That's so cool.
It was so sweet. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, just a couple days ago, Sunday, Lori Germain watched that episode.
Totally.
It's so cool because she has her book in the bundle too. This is her first book.
Yeah.
Right.
First book in the bundle. Yeah.
And she's got some awesome recipes. Like we're tapping in. We've still got some of the rad bacon bits right on the counter. We can add into our Caesar salad. She's got like jerky, like beet jerky made out of jicama. Amazing. It's got a good flavor.
Where does she live, your mom?
She's in Canada right now in Edmonton. Yeah, she used to live she lived with us in Ashland for a little bit of time, and then she was in California for a bit. But she moved back to Canada just because like the healthcare system, because she's a landed immigrant resident or whatever, she's got access to the healthcare, which, you know, when you're getting older, she wants to make sure that she's secure and stuff. So and she also wanted to be near her grandkids. My sister has 4 kids, so she wanted to be over there for them. So she moved back to Canada, and I haven't seen her in like almost 4 years. So we'll have to eventually hook up. But I mean, I'm seeing my dad this summer, who I haven't seen in 4 years either. So it's
right.
4, I think. Yeah. When we get married, it was like around that time, 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I saw him was at a raw restaurant, actually. But yeah, it'll be cool. But my mom's amazing. She's such a sweetheart, and she's overcome a lot. Like there's like a family history of gut disease in my family. She had colon cancer. My uncle died with Crohn's disease when he was 27. So gut health is like really, really important to me. That's why I talk so much about it, and why I'm so like geeking out about fiber variety and the gut microbiome and everything, because it's really important to me and my family. And my mom's now plant-based, and she's high raw, and she eats like a lot of stuff. So she joined the bundle as well. So you guys, if you get the bundle, open my mom's book, My Gentle Kitchen, and make some of the stuff from my mom.
Oh my gosh, My Gentle Kitchen. And we've made her carrot cake recipe.
Oh yes, I made it for Nate's birthday.
And then I was like, I got to make it again because I slurped it down. I think it lasted like maybe 2 or 3 days. And I was like, we need to make another one of those carrot cakes. And it's like a pretty low fat carrot cake. Oh, so good. So yeah, another reason. So if, you know, the jicama slaw, that's another one we're going to be having. That's going to be one of our summer staples. We'll use the food processor to make big batches of it to last, you know, at least it'll last 2 days.
Yeah.
But make sure when you get the bundle, you guys open up some of the books and just dive into some of these recipes. It can be kind of intimidating. As a dude, sometimes I'm like, whoa, there's like all kinds of words I need to read. But just read the recipe and just try it out. You're going to have a lot of fun, and they're really simple.
Nice. Well, thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Yes,
So
we'll be
good.
back.
So good. Thank you so much, Chef AJ. Bye,
Thank you. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow for Janie Goddard, Rewinding Your Body Clock. She'll be talking about natural healing methods for menopause and